Welcome back to the Unveiled. Today, I'm honored to sit down with Judy Ann, a licensed physical therapy assistant, advanced craniosacral therapist, and bioenergetics practitioner with more than 40 years of experience helping people heal. For decades, Judy has explored the powerful relationship between the body, the nervous system, energy, and our innate capacity for restoration and well-being. Her work bridges both science and subtle awareness, offering a unique perspective on how healing happens from the inside out. In this conversation, we explore craniosacral therapy, structural and energetic healing, nervous system regulation, and the wisdom she's gained through a lifetime of working with the human body. Please join me in welcoming Judy Ann to the Unveiled. Hi, Judy. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks. Excited to be here.
I'm so grateful that you are joining me on a Saturday. You could be doing so much more, but you chose to hang out with me. So thank you so much. Before we get into your work itself, I want you to take me back to like the story before the work and what led you into this type of work.
Oh, okay. Well, I started out in outpatient orthopedics, physical therapy. Before that, I was into athletic training, which led me into orthopedics, physical therapy. And then when I started taking trainings, I worked in this one office where one of the physical therapists he was an older gentleman, but he was considered the guru. And I said, "What training did you do?" And he talked about craniosacral therapy. So I started doing trainings in craniosacral therapy, and that branched out to all kinds of different types of body work.
So you've been doing that. That was like the first thing you started doing? Oh, cool. Because that's the main topic I want to talk about today is that.
Right,
So.
the body work. But over time, I've added into the emotional, energetic clearing and balancing.
Now, you told me about your family being kind of all into the spiritual, energetic side. Can you tell me more about that? Because I know we only met one time in my session and I didn't really get to...
Okay, well, my younger sister sort of followed me with the craniosacral therapy. She got her massage license in cranial and then again branched out. She has a gift, what I would call as a medical medium. Because she can kind of see things in the body and be able to let you know what's going on physically in the body.
By looking?
Energetically, yeah, wow. Energetically looking.
So something like lights up on a person and she's like...
Maybe that's the way it does for her, but I found she's been incredibly accurate. And then I have another sister who's like a seer. She can see years into the future.
Wow.
But she doesn't like to do readings because of that.
Wow. So she just stays away from it and just keeps it to herself?
Well, no, she tried it out for a little bit, but it just wasn't her thing. She's very, very artistic. I kind of relate to her as Frances of Assisi because she is amazing with children and animals. I was like, "Can I give you my daughter for a week? You can transform her." And then she has a picture in Hawaii or a video in Hawaii where she's just holding her hand out and like a dozen birds are eating right out of her hand.
Oh, wow.
That's how gentle her energy is.
Yeah, that sounds like it. So was your mom and dad into this kind of stuff or were they?
I think my mom was, but growing up in the era that she grew, it was very, very
talked about.
Not talked about. Even when I started in the early 90s, energy, the word energy was still taboo. It was not talked about. Yeah. And it's become like a normal expression, a word. But back then, when you talked about it, people was like, "Oh."
So what made you what was driving the force to keep going when it was looked at like that? Do you know? Or was it kind of just like a pull?
Well, I did start the traditional way with outpatient orthopedics physical therapy. And then I was actually a physical therapy assistant, and it was very difficult to get continuing education courses. And most of the courses you had to take with a PT, and almost no facility will let a PTA and a PT go at the same time. So I found, and then through the one practitioner that I worked under, he talked about cranial, and I said, "Great, I can take that without having to have a therapist to go with me." And it just sort of branched out from there, all kinds of different trainings.
No doubt, yeah. You've been on this path for 35 years, correct? Or was it 40? 35.
It's pretty close to 40.
Almost 40, yeah. That's what I thought. What has kept you passionate and on this path of healing people this whole time? Because that's a long time to stay passionate about doing something and to keep going with it. So
it's just a niche that I fell into that I could kind of more freely express myself.
Yeah.
And just the trainings along the way. Because I also did, one of the things that really got me to delve in is I had a friend who did Huna.
What's that?
Huna's Hawaiian mysticism. And in the Big
Ooh.
Island, there's a group that teaches Huna. And you learn about Hawaiian mysticism. And she had come to my house because my son refused to go sleep in his room. And one day he told me that there was a man in a hood and a black and would go up the stairs and go into his room. So for a year, he would not sleep in his room until he finally told me that. And I talked to my friend and she says, oh, I can do a house clearing. I can come and do that for you. So when everybody was gone, the kids were at school, husband was at work, we sat down in the middle of the living room and she told me all about the house, how it was like I think it was the Ohlone Indians, because this was in California, and that it was near a grave site. So there was hundreds of them. But she talked about that man, that hooded being. And she finally goes, oh, he's gone now. And I go, great. And my son came home from school that day, didn't say anything, but for the first time in 1 year, he slept in his room. And he started sleeping in his room from then on out.
And he didn't even know that you had her.
No one knew that I did it.
Oh, wow.
That I had her come. And I was like, whatever that is, I want to learn. And so the next time they went to the Huna training, I went with them and started doing, I studied Huna training for like about 7 years. And then from there, I started going to Peru and I went back and forth to Peru, studying with the Inca mystics.
Wow.
The Peruvian mystics. Yeah. And for about 6 years.
So you kept going, like you would, you didn't live out there. You just go out.
No,
like
I would just go once a year and spend a week there doing training.
What did they do? What do they do? What was like significant about that?
It's very different than shamanism, because shamanism uses rattles and chants and things like that. But mysticism is just about working your magic. So when you would study with the Inca mystics, they would talk about how they could just project their voice or project their hand and it would have an effect. Like one of the examples was one of the students of the mystic was walking home. He had some groceries under his arm like that. And someone came along and popped it out, grabbed it and started running. And he goes, halt. And the person stopped in their track, could not move. And he would walk up, take it back, and then tap him on the forehead. And the person goes and runs off. And the same thing with the Hawaiian mystics. They used to be able to chant with their hula dances and chanting. The one I studied under was George Naopo and Etua, who when we would go to Huna, you could also do the offshoot of learning hula. And they would talk about his stories of George Naopo and his sister. The first time, one of the early times when the volcano was erupting, it was threatening to consume Hilo. So he and his sister, he chanted for her and drummed and she danced and the lava came almost to them and stopped. And then she said, I'm done here. And they left and it stopped right there.
I just got chills. So what is it? Is it belief that you feel they are able to do that?
Yeah.
With technique? I mean, is there something in the training that gets you to a certain level of belief to where you're able to do that? And have you ever stopped somebody just by doing this?
No, I don't.
That's pretty damn cool.
I've watched other things. Like there was one, and everything comes kind of randomly when you least expect it. Yeah. I knew I was working on opening up my vision and other things. And I remember working with this one woman, she was my client and she wanted to bring her mother in who was like in her late 80s. And she was from Hawaii. And this was in Hawaii. And she came over literally bent over in half. And I looked at her and I go, I don't know what I can do with this woman. I don't know what I can do for her. And her daughter had a lot of faith in me. And I'm like, okay, great. So she lays down on the table and I'm working on her. And I go, it would be so awesome if an angel would just come in and take care of her. And I watched out of the wall an angel come in and lay in her body. And I go, wow, okay. And then when she sat up, she goes, this is the best session ever. And I go, okay. And she stood up. and my mouth dropped.
She just straight up like
She wasn't quite straight,
yeah,
but she wasn't bent over in half. She was more like this,
yeah,
as opposed to this.
That's a big change.
Yeah, little rice paddy lady almost. And she walked out, and her daughter, her mouth dropped open too. And I go, I know, huh? Isn't this great?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's get into the craniosacral therapy though, because I've been guided to try this for I'd say about 12 years, and I never did it because I have an issue with that God mouth area. I guess it's C1. It stiffens up constantly, and then I have the degrading or what is it called?
The migraines,
debilitating, or oh God.
Tap your head right here.
Right
here. No, here, up here. This is your memory center. If you tap it within about a minute, you'll remember the word.
Huh.
And I tap with all my fingers.
Degenerative. How did I know? Oh my God. Like I know that word so much, like everything. And then I just do that and I remembered it right when I did that. That's so crazy. What, how does that happen?
That's your memory center. So you
is
remember
that on the right or the left?
On the right.
Okay.
You know the jog your memory?
Yeah.
That's where that comes from.
Oh, wow.
Because you just tap it. I use all my fingers and I tap. And within a minute, boom, that word comes that you're looking for. It will pop in.
I will never. This is the most amazing thing out of this whole podcast for me is I'm going to use this forever now. Thank you. And I'm going to tell everyone about it. So for someone who has never heard of craniosacral therapy before, what exactly is it?
Craniosacral therapy is a very gentle, hands-on type of manipulative healing therapy. It is very gently works the cranial bones. But when they say craniosacral, your cranium and then your sacrum, it's working the whole dural tube and gently unwinding strain patterns and gently releasing stuck cranial bones. That is kind of part of my foundation, but I also have a strong structural background.
Yeah, I'm getting into that too.
Which is like mechanical link and that sort of thing. So it's a combination. And then when I started learning bioenergetics, that's when I started adding in the emotional energetic clearing and balancing. Because what I would find in the physical realm was I could balance and align somebody. They walk out straight and great and everything's in alignment. They'd come back a week later and it's a mess again.
Right.
And when I started learning bioenergetics, it's because there's usually a stored negative emotional agenda or a trapped emotion or a hidden agenda. Those are the kind of the three that I use a lot. And when you start asking the body, and I use applied kinesiology. So applied kinesiology is that yes, no thing.
Yeah.
But instead of using their arm, I use their cranial rhythm. And I calibrate yes and no off their cranial rhythm. And the body's very literal. You need to be very specific. And they have to be yes, no questions. And it'll take you back. We store everything in our hologram.
Yeah.
From the time
let's talk about hologram.
Well, the hologram is your field, your body.
Okay, yeah.
So everything is stored there. Every memory is there. Everything.
How far does that go out again? Like 12 feet or something?
Well, our general field is about 10 to 12 inches.
Okay.
So, but we have high. There's more that goes out further. You always have to check. You said those tuning fork thingies that you could check to see how far your field goes out. So anyway, that's your hologram. That's your biofield. It's telling you, it's what's sending information into your physical body. Okay. And everything is stored from the minute you're conceived till the day you die. Everything is stored there. Even actually past life can bleed in and be in there as well.
And like your in your DNA from like your ancestors.
Yeah, and that
even,
too.
Right?
All that's there. You can go and clear DNA stuff as well. And by just asking the body the specific question, and when was it installed? And it'll take you to that time. And sometimes people will have a memory, it'll pop in their head, and other times they won't, but you learn that you clear it anyway. And then somewhere down the road, they're going to go, that's what it was. Okay. And it could be the same day. It could be next week, months, years down the road when they go, oh my God, that's what it was.
So when I had my session with you, not the one where we were at the tachyon chamber, the first one, did you do craniosacral on me that day? Or was it mainly structural? And
it was a combination of all of it. What I do,
you do all three.
I do all of it, and I follow the body. The body's leads is I may be working, like one time I was working on a head And I saw a figure tapping this guy's foot. And I go, well, I'll get there in a minute. Just keeps tapping. And I go, I'll get there in a minute. Finally, I go over there and then I grab his foot and I start to work on it. He goes, oh my God, I'm so glad you did it on my foot. And I go, why? He goes, I twisted my ankle the other day and it's been really bothering me.
Wow.
So it's more of following the body's lead. Rather than me having an agenda, I don't go in with an agenda. Some people I do all structural. Some people it's all energetic. And some people it's the combination of all of it.
Okay.
It's just what's lighting up first.
Okay.
On the body.
And you said I was pretty clear in that session, but then when we did part 2, we found some crazy weirdness around my pelvic area. I just got chills for some reason. How did it?
Well, when you came in the office, it's really asking if there's holes in your auric field, if there's overloads or shutdowns in your chakras, and are you alone in your field? That's where you're clear.
Okay.
But this other stuff that's stored in, sometimes it's all layers. It's like peeling onions.
Yeah.
You have to follow the body and honor the body's lead. I need to do this first. Okay, what do you need first? And it's that kind of structure. Now, in the Tachyon Center, there's something magical that happens.
I know.
And the combination is very, very powerful because I'm just all energy. I'm not even touching you. It's all energy work. And I'm just going where I'm led to go. And it feels like it can go many layers.
Yeah. Quickly.
Yeah, very, very quickly.
Speed of light. Right?
Yeah, it's very different.
This episode is sponsored by Torchbearer Tachyon, a divine portal for peace based in Charlotte, North Carolina. They offer 1-hour nervous system resets, available both in person and remotely, designed to bring you into alignment physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. If you're feeling called to reset and recalibrate, you can experience it for yourself at a discounted rate. Listeners of The Unveiled receive 20% off your first session, bringing it from $111 down to $88.80 when you use code UNVEILED20. Book your session at torchbearertachyon.com today. So what happens during a typical session? You'll come in, or they'll come in, you'll read the body with your eyes, or is it like you start doing the testing, you lay them down? Like, how do you decide what's coming first? Like, how do you start with them?
Well, usually like with you, with everybody, I stand them up first. I look what their body's doing standing and I notice if there's curves or imbalances and certain things, and I might start working there or bring you over, sit you down, because when you take the legs out, it changes. Because now you're not weight bearing from the legs, you're weight bearing from your sit bones.
Yeah, mine was off. Yeah.
And then checking that way. And then when I lay you down, I'm also checking the dural tube. I'm checking how easily things are moving, if there's an imbalance. So often I do start off structurally.
Okay.
But then again, it's just the lead. Some people come in for only energy work, and I'll start right there.
When the body talks to you, does it talk to you in like a kinesthetic way? I know you said you see beings. Is it just strictly images, or do you hear? Like, how do you know it's really what? After 40 years of doing this, you learn to trust it.
Initially, I started off very kinesthetic because that was my major gift.
Yeah.
Kinesthetic, and I could sense and feel and see imbalances. And I really wanted to develop my vision and my hearing. And so the next thing sort of that came in was the vision, because I really wanted to be able to start seeing things. Because I had a friend who could just see everything. And I go, I want to do that too.
I was jealous of that too. Like, everybody would try to get me to visualize, and I couldn't get like a picture movie going through. I would just get like a flat image, but now I'm starting to get images as well after so many years.
And I did a drumming circle for a long time, a women's drumming circle. We'd go up once a month and she'd drum for like 45 minutes in the dark. She channeled her drumming, and we would all sit there and go on a journey. And then you just pay attention to what you're experiencing in the journey. And for me, I'm like you, I got just a flat image. I got a straight image, and I'm like, I have to make sense out of that.
Yeah.
And when we would finish and we would sit in the circle and describe what we saw or experienced, I'm like, oh, I saw that too. I saw that too. Oh, I'm not imagining that. How could they all be seeing the same thing I'm seeing? But then they could put words to it. And I was like, oh, that's how it, so I could understand my vision even more. And so just doing practices like that is kind of, and then when I started learning bioenergetics, it really opened up my door to really starting to see and understand and visualize more. It's just all the different trainings. It opens more and more windows and doors.
What's the difference between bioenergetics and like doing Reiki, for instance? Because they're both energy work, right?
Yeah, but the bioenergetics uses applied kinesiology specifically to ask body questions.
Okay.
And when we were learning it also, the instructor had all of the biochemistry of the body. So we could take like the cholesterol molecule, and I have a picture of it. And I can put it on the body and I can go, okay, body, are you making it exactly like this? And if the body says no, I go, oh, did you change it? Yes. Okay, what part of the molecule did you change? And then it'll pinpoint it. And then you could say, oh, you took that off. Okay, what did you put on it instead? Because you have like hydrogen, nitrogen, a carboxyl. I know it's
Wow.
a two-year training. It's intense. It's intense. So with all of that, you can figure out exactly where they changed the cholesterol molecule, find out what was going on, do the clearing, come back and say, okay, now, can you take this off that you added and put the correct one back on? And if the body says yes, we're great.
This is super deep work. Yeah, deeper than I even knew. Okay. No wonder she's like, I'm like, what all do you do? And she's like, I do my thing. Like I'm like, what are you certified in? A lot.
I know, because I'm a Reiki master. I've done magnified healing. I've done Seraphim Blueprint.
Wait, what's magnified healing?
Magnified healing was a type, it's an old one. It's just about just teaching you how to bring the energy all the way through.
Okay. Working with the chi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it's supposed to be going two ways.
Yeah.
Like you bring it from spirit down into your heart and then down into Mother Earth and then back in your heart. And it's this continuous cycle of, and I always connect on a higher level with my clients so that everything's just dropping down. I studied back with Lee Harris way back when he first started. And when he looked at my energy, he kind of looked up and down and then he goes, huh? And I'm like, what? And he goes, your energy goes, and then like that. And I go, yeah, that's what I do. I just pull.
Yeah.
And it just drops down. And he said, I connect. And I connect. He called me a spiritual midwife where I connect people to their higher self.
Oh,
and clients,
I love that.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? But as I've watched clients that stick around and go, I've watched them step into their spiritual path and continue to grow from there. Yeah. So that's kind of been a little fun blessing along the way as well.
What would you say is happening if somebody has stepped into their spiritual path, but they keep being pulled or allowing themselves to go back into the old path?
That's kind of like the dark night of the soul.
Right. That's what I'm in right now. The pressure, I've been in it for 2 years. Like
the pressure from the outside is really strong.
Yeah.
So I mean, even for me growing up, it was like, you're doing evil work. And I'm like, no, I'm not. How could you say that? You know, how many healers in the past were crucified because they were considered a witch or a warlock or whatever because they were doing healing work. They were helping people get well.
Wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just because consciousness hasn't, I guess, caught up with, the early pioneers. What kind of issues or conditions do you most commonly see people come to you for? Is it mainly like chronic pain, physical pain, or is it?
A lot of people, for neck and back is really common. Yeah. Every once in a while I can do all the energy work on the phone. I don't have to have them come in. So I have people like from India and California and other places where they'll just, that they know about me or most people experience me in the office first. Yeah. And then if they're a long distance or they've referred somebody a long distance, then they'll call in and we'll do a session over the phone and we can do energetic clearing that way.
I just got this. You seem egoless.
Oh, well, thank you.
I don't know. I just came out of nowhere. She's egoless. And it's weird. I don't know why I said that, but yeah, you have that. How did you get to that? Just over.
I think too, because along the way I've experienced a lot of healing. Like I came with a bucket load.
Really? And, what kind of loads?
Oh, well.
What did you overcome that was like the craziest thing that was just like,
Well, I mean, first I grew up in an era, like even when I started learning tarot, my grandmother's, that's evil, get that out of my house. And I'm like, okay. And then they start playing the game Rook and I start laughing and they go, what are you laughing about? I'm reading your cards.
So you had to like get past that.
All the condemnation. Yeah.
Condemnation. Because you probably took a lot of it on after being told so much, right?
Well, that, and also, because of what I do and where I've come from and everything, I've always been sort of like an outcast.
Yeah.
And so it was just learning how to, I think because I started doing the work and I started in traditional, physical therapy and so on, and graduated into that. But as I graduated into the more spiritual stuff, there was a lot of support in that way because I would have clients coming back going, oh my God, what did you do? I had clients coming back 4 years later. That session you did? I'm like, 4 years ago, I don't remember. And they go, it was so powerful. I'm like, well, thank you.
So confirmation in a way.
Yeah. And over time, the more confirmation you get, the more confidence you have.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, I got to trust this. I just got to believe it. I had someone coming in and he was screaming at me about this and that. And I said, you come back a week later and you're wanting a refund and you're screaming at me. And I knew that he was using me as a proxy for his mother.
Yeah.
And I said, look, if you felt anything strange or wrong, you should have said it during the session. But you can't give me my time back.
Right.
And, we can't really, but it was a benefit for him in a sense because that's what I learned too in craniosacral therapy. You end up learning to be a proxy. And a proxy is really difficult to be because they're angry at you, but they're not really angry at you, or they're angry at the person, but they're taking it out on you.
And you can't do anything about it.
Well, you just got to hold the space for them.
Yeah.
You got to hold the space.
Yeah, you just don't seem like you ever would be angry at all. You got that.
Oh, I did have my times.
You got that calmness. Like as soon as you walk in, I was freaking out because I was like, I have 3 podcasts today. I'm ADHD. I've got all these. I got to remember all these things. And then when you came in, it was like, boom.
Thank you.
I was like, oh, okay.
Well, we should work on your ADHD. We can work on the chemicals on your neurotransmitters, and usually it's seraphim, dopamine, glycine, proline, acetylcholine. I've worked on a lot of ADHD kids and it grounds them.
With the cranial? Is that
no,
what that
with the bioenergetic.
The bioenergetics.
Yeah, because now we're looking at the chemical configuration and asking if they're making it correctly.
Wow.
And if they're not making it correctly, you can go back when it was installed, clear it, and let the body make the change and bring them up to date. And
that's so
night and day
how that works.
It's amazing. I've seen that so much in so many things, and that's part of growing your confidence. That and I think I've done so much clearing on myself.
Yeah, and
that keeps me grounded and more calm.
What are some of the biggest benefits you've seen people experience from your work? Like, what's one of the a life-changing one that you remembered? And
well, the woman from Hawaii coming in who's been to that was amazing.
That was great.
I've had a couple of sessions that were pretty amazing where I was working on someone. And I said, what happened at this time? Because the body pinpointed this age. Oh, no, everything was wonderful. And I'm like, well, let's clear it anyway, because you're going to benefit from it. And,
because the body doesn't lie.
Exactly.
You may not be aware of it, but the body told me.
And then if, like minutes later or whatever, we're all on, doing some clearing. And then I remember the woman goes, oh my God. And I go, what? And she goes, I remember. And I go, what happened? And she goes, my son had called me to say goodbye because he was at a bar and there was a gunfight and he thought he was going to die.
Oh, shit.
But see how our brain will say, oh, we can't deal with that. Let's put it over here.
Block it out.
And block it out. Or another one was the woman said, oh, no, everything's fine. Everything was great. And then about 15 minutes later, she goes, oh my God, I remember. And I go, what is it? And she goes, my daughter had to have brain surgery.
Yeah.
So
you knew mine. You were like, what happened at 26? I was like, I moved from Indiana to LA and my whole life shifted. You knew that. You knew, you said what happened at 37, I think, or 38. And I said, I had preeclampsia, almost died with my son. And then that's what came up during this thing.
The tachyon,
so I mean, you knew spot on.
And everybody goes, a lot of people go, how do you know this? And I go, it's not that I know it. That's what your body's telling me to point to. And this is what's significant. Let's clear it.
Yeah. Believe the body over the mind.
Yeah, because
Hmm.
people will come and say, "Oh, I've got these migraines," and I'm like, "Okay." And if I end up, and they even taught you that in craniosacral therapy, you might end up at their feet. A big toe can be related to migraines. So follow the body.
Hmm.
Listen to the body. Okay, yes, they're saying this is their problem, but follow the body because it's going to have its own way of how it wants to unravel. It may start from present to go to past, or might from past to present, or somewhere in the middle and jump all around. And sometimes I'm sitting there going, okay, I have no idea how this is all coming together. But at the end, it always tells the story.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're like, that's the story.
So why do you think we listen to our mind over our bodies so much? And why are we so disconnected from our body, you think?
Um, that was one of the things in Huna. And one of the things when we started the spiritual journey, we did the first couple of levels of the spiritual journey. And then he recommended us to go back and learn NLP.
Ah, I'm a practitioner in NLP. I went to
Oh,
Amsterdam and
to
learned
get the
that.
brain
Yeah.
connected to the body. So it's kind of like a six. So you go, uh, it's basically from your heart and it circles around up to spirit. So you have to get the mind and the body in connection with each other. So the mind has to honor the body.
Okay.
And then the body or the heart takes it up to spirit. So it's kind of like that's how it works. That's what I learned in Huna and NLP.
So what about like with my I'm not listening, I guess, to my body. I'm
Mhm.
letting the subconscious program, behavior, self, whatever, tell me what I'm doing instead of, listening to the body. Hey, your body doesn't want that sugar that you just keep replacing your addiction, with, right? But I
Mhm.
end up giving into it. How could I stop that?
Well, like for me, I did a lot of healing with all the things, but also started asking myself too.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, where does that live in my body? How did it get there? Take
Okay.
me back to where that was and where it was installed. And I could go back to where it was installed, ask how the body wants to clear it. There's different ways. I always ask the body, how does it want to clear it?
You ask the body
Yeah,
that.
like it
Okay.
could
Because
be
I haven't been doing that. I
it
haven't
could
said,
this is just from all the training that I can do that.
yeah.
It could want to run a meridian, so you clear the meridian and install the positive affirmation. It could want you just to lift something out of the field. It could just want you to go back to a past life.
Right.
See, and then that's when I can see the past life, ask the body what it needs to clear the past life, and then bring it back and bring it forward and clear it.
Wow.
And then it could also be like soul fractures. Well, soul fracture, we in bioenergetics we call it a split, but I kind of call it a soul fracture. It's an aspect of yourself that pops out of your field and hangs out over here or there, wherever, until you're ready to deal with it. And sometimes it comes up in a session and it's ready to be cleared so that can be cleared and reintegrate. So what you're doing is calling back parts of yourself that fractured out.
Yeah, I've always felt like a split. Like I wanted this identity, but I kept giving in to this identity. So it's
Mhm.
like, so you're saying that maybe are you saying that part of my soul is
Mhm.
out here
And pieces.
and that's the one that is not in control fully because it's not
Mhm.
in here?
Mhm.
Okay. So, I guess this work
Mhm.
will help that split get
Mhm.
congruent. Okay. Okay. Wow. That's a big one, the soul split, because I've known about it. I didn't know I knew about it all this time, but I've known intuitively about that.
Yeah, that's something that you could just ask me, "Hey, do I have any soul fractures?" And I could ask your body and your body will point to where they are.
Can you do one right now? Like a little quick
Um,
thing?
yeah,
Or,
we could. So, okay, we're long distance, so because I can't.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so Megan's body, yes, I have got to answer yes before we even had to ask.
Really?
Okay, so here's a question: how many? More than 5? About 4. You have about 4 splits.
Okay.
So then, what I would do is start to look and identify where it is, so I
Okay.
can see one here and one there for sure. And I would go there and I go, okay, what do you need to be okay? And then I pay attention to what I'm sensing or hearing and do the energetic clearing there. And then when it's clear, are you good? And it's like, yes, okay, can we bring you back? And then I would energetically bring it back to your body.
See, that would make someone become whole.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, remember that when I text you next, and
Okay.
we're gonna get my soul back
Okay.
together. Because I'm tired of it.
Yes.
I wanna get into the full identity, the new identity now. And like, oh, but then they just said, you wanting that is keeping me from actually the want.
Because you stay in the state of wanting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
part of the affirmations is the affirmation is if it's already happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, and saying thank you.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. Because a lot of people go, I'm saying affirmations. And I remember my sister one time, she was yelling at me, I'm saying affirmations and it's not working. I go, do you hear how angry you are?
And it's because her nervous system didn't accept it.
Right.
Because she didn't believe what she was saying. So you have to kind of move on I've been working with this. Like, someone can say they feel abundant or they are abundant all day long, right? But if
they don't believe it.
But if their bodies only experience struggle and fucking poverty, their nervous system's not going to accept that affirmation. So you could say it 10,000 fucking times and it's not going to stick, right? So you got to you got to change it and get softer with it, is what I'm finding. Like, it's like I'm noticing more abundance in my life each day.
That's
right?
the gratitude journal.
Yeah.
I always talk about the gratitude journal because at the end of the day, you write down the things you're grateful for.
Yeah.
And the more you write those down, the more things you find that you're grateful for.
The RAS.
So the manifestation flows where the attention goes.
Right.
And you go, I want this, but you're going to keep yourself in the state of wanting. You can say, I have this, and believe it, that you have it, and all of a sudden the universe conspires and it's there.
It reorganizes
around that.
Is there anything about this particular work that people misunderstand commonly?
Yeah, it depends on how far along in their spiritual development that they are. Some people will run. They get a session and they run. You don't see them for another year.
Yeah, I've noticed that with Reiki. Yeah.
Or, but it's just because they need time to integrate.
Yeah.
And it was huge. So when early on, actually, this was even funny too, because when I was in, California and there was this place, there was a Soul Connections, and they had people who did readings, Spiritual people had been doing readings for years and years and years. And a couple of them came into the office and then they canceled. And I go, well, what happened? And then she goes, we weren't ready for the change you were introducing. And I'm like, wait, you guys are doing great and spiritual, giving people readings and you're not ready? It really did shock me. But, at that time, I know one, she owned property in Hawaii, and, what they were doing, they were wealthy. They weren't willing to let that go.
Yeah.
To evolve more.
Yeah.
So
I ran from reverse speech for like 4 years, and then it ended up coming back in my life because it talks about that's what first introduced me to the world being a mirror. And the mirror is uncomfortable when you realize that, because it's like everybody, every situation, it's like you have to become responsible for what. Oh, I just got chills. What you're getting, and then you're responsible for everything that you're getting, and it's tough to do that. It really is when you've been in survival your whole life and blaming people.
Well, that's the NLP is there's cause and effect.
Yeah.
Which end are you on?
Right.
Are you on the cause side? Because you're there, you have control.
Yeah.
On the effect side, everything's happening to you.
Yeah.
So once you take responsibility, then you're able to take that first step to make change.
Right, right. What actually happens when the body has been compensating for imbalances for years? Like what?
It can get cranky for a while.
Yeah.
Like in cranial, they always told us 3 to 4 days. But I actually had a client once, 6 days after a session, she called me. She says, I am miserable. I am so uncomfortable and da-da-da-da. Can I come in? I said, well, I have an opening tomorrow. Can you come in tomorrow? So she came in the next day and she looked at me. She goes, I'm so embarrassed. And I go, why? Because I feel so much better today. Because it just took her longer to really integrate the changes. Yeah. So sometimes, especially structurally, if you've been wearing it for a long time and then you start correcting it, the body can be really cranky. It's like, wait, I know this is dysfunctional, but I got used to it.
Right.
And so it takes some time for inflammation to go down and for the body to go, oh yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be going. This is comfortable. This is more normal. So it's just that.
After all these years working with the body, what has surprised you most about the healing process?
That's a good question. I've been doing this for so long that there are no surprises in a sense, because I believe in the magic and the miracles. I've been able to experience miracles. So I believe in them. And so they're going to surprise you every time. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I guess I love seeing the miracles.
Yeah.
Because things that you would never have expected happen. That's what surprises me the most. I guess.
That's also what keeps you so passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I just got chills again. Wow. I've had them like 10 times since I've been talking to you. That doesn't usually happen. I get them here and there, but what do you think people overlook the most when it comes to their health and well-being?
Well, our bodies have an amazing ability to compensate. So what happens is over time we compensate and compensate and compensate. Then we get to the point that the body can no longer compensate. And that's a lot of times when people come desperate for help.
Yeah.
But it takes time. They have to be willing to take time to unravel those strains to be able to get back into balance and alignment again.
Yeah.
So it's normal for us to ignore things for a while. We just ignore things because we compensate.
Because we're busy.
Yeah, life,
distracted.
busy, finance, everything. It's all of that. So, when I started doing this work, I felt and saw such a great benefit that's where I became passionate about, this is amazing. This stuff works.
Yeah.
And I am so much happier in my body, where I started I'd be out walking. I'm like, oh, I'm in my joy space. And it's like, wow,
Yeah, I have those little
moments.
Yeah. So if someone listening is struggling mentally, emotionally, and energetically, they've got the 3 whammies, where do you recommend they begin?
Seeing somebody like me, I guess.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes another family member to send them that way. Where I had one woman, my client was saying, my mom is talking suicide. She's been talking suicide. She's not happy. She's miserable. And she goes, will you work with her? I'm like, sure. And she came in and her whole countenance, everything. I don't know why I'm here. And I worked on her. And when she left, I could see the difference. And she goes back a week later and she goes, I'm not any better. But look at the difference. This versus. And I kind of just smile. I'm like, okay, great. Just get on the table, work on you. And then I call her daughter and I go, how's she doing? Oh my God, she's so much better. She's not talking suicide. She's back to almost more like herself.
Wow.
But the person herself could not recognize it. That's sometimes I've found that several times.
Yeah.
Where the person themselves can't recognize the change, but people around them do.
Yeah.
And as long as people around them do, over time, they're going to start noticing a shift.
Because they'll start telling them and then they'll start recognizing it, right?
Yeah.
So I work with sway testing and pendulums.
Okay.
And when you were with me in my session, you turned me on to a new pendulum.
Frequency dowsing.
Yeah. So I had no idea about that. What did you call the one I'm using? Just mental?
Mental dowsing.
Okay.
So I no longer do mental dowsing because you can influence the outcome because of what answer you may want.
Okay.
With frequency
dowsing. Or the answer you may fear because.
Exactly.
But whenever I was pregnant, I had this intuition that I was going to have complications, right? And then when I did it, it said yes, and that's what happened. So even when you don't want it, you can influence it just from your fear, right?
So clearing a lot of that stuff probably could have eliminated a lot of your complications. Yeah, but you didn't know. So frequency dowsing is just using your frequency compared to another thing. So like if I'm going shopping for supplements, I will check my frequency. And if it's going strong, great. And if I point at a supplement and it stops or it slows down or stops or goes backwards, if it slows down, it's saying, you're not going to benefit from this.
Wow.
If it stops, it's like, if you do this, you could take this, but it might cause you to crash and burn.
So you can do this with food.
Yeah. Yeah, everything. And if it goes backwards, that's it. Your body's saying this is poison to you. Don't take it. But if it strengthens your frequency, that's something you need. That's a supplement you need.
Is there anything new or you're excited about coming up, or anything you want to plug? Any deals, retreats, anything like that, or no?
I can offer probably a 10% discount.
Sure.
If someone wants to come in for their first appointment.
Awesome.
I normally charge $150 for the session. It's usually 50 minutes for the session. And I can offer a 10% discount for their first visit.
Great. Do they just tell you code Unveiled or something when they call
something
you?
like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. 10% off, guys. Do it. So if listeners can take away one thing from our conversation, what would you want it to be?
I would say give it a try, because it's magic.
Yeah.
And like I said, it does blow some people away. Yeah. But it is very, very different. I think what I do is more unique.
Yeah.
Compared to anyone else, but it's from all the different experience and different trainings that I've sort of combined it and created my own thing.
I was gonna say, it's your own little thing. I don't know anybody else doing this, guys. So yes, definitely. Where can they find you, Judy?
I currently live in Stanley, and I have an office in my house. Mm-hmm. And I have the website, Judy Ann's Healing. And I can give the phone number out, 650-575-1408. You can always call me, text me, and we can schedule an appointment, and then I would give you the address and schedule time.
Well, thank you so much, Judy, for coming out and spending the day with me. And I appreciate you so much, and I can't wait to work with you again.
Thank you.
So thank you. All right, guys.